Welcome back, warrior. Okay, we're on Doctrine and Covenants, section 69. And this is, let's read this historical background. It says, by November 1831, Joseph was ready to have the revelations published. On November 3rd, 1831, he received the revelation known as the Appendix, now known as Section 133. It was time to take all the revelations to Missouri so they could be printed at the church printing press that W.W. Phelps was setting up. This was a long journey, and Oliver Cowdery would be carrying some sacred materials as well as money. Therefore, a companion to travel with was wise and necessary. The section heading for Doctrine and Covenants 69 states Oliver Cowdery had previously been appointed to carry the manuscript of the compiled revelations and commandments to Independence, Missouri for printing. He was also to take with him money that had been contributed for the building up of the church in Missouri. In this revelation, the Lord also instructs John Whitmer to go with him. Okay. So, very exciting. Revelation given through Joseph Smith, the prophet at Hiram, Ohio, November 11th, 1831. The compilation of revelations intended for early publication had been passed upon at the special conference of November 1st to 2nd. On November 3rd, the revelation herein, appearing as section 133, later called the Appendix, was added. Oliver Cowdery had previously been appointed to carry the manuscript of the compiled revelations and commandments to Independence, Missouri for printing. He was also to take with him money that had been contributed for the building up of the church in Missouri. This revelation instructs John Whitmer to accompany Oliver Cowdery and also directs Whitmer to travel and collect historical material in his calling as church historian and recorder. Okay, so here we go. Verses 1 and 2. Hearken unto me, saith the Lord your God, for my servant Oliver Cowdery's sake. It is not wisdom in me that he should be entrusted with the commandments and the monies which he shall carry unto the land of Zion, except one go with him, who will be true and faithful. Wherefore I, the Lord, will that my servant John Whitmer should go with my servant Oliver Cowdery. Okay, so he gets a companion, which is awesome. Have you ever had such important material or possessions that you simply did not want to go alone with them, especially for a distance? The Lord simply states that for Oliver Cowdery's sake, he shouldn't be carrying the Book of Commandments, nor the money meant to build up Zion by himself. Therefore, I would have had like way more people than just one other person. Therefore, John Whitmer was to accompany Oliver. It could be that he might lose them, because there could be lots of reasons, right? He could lose them, they might get stolen, or simply the temptation could be too great. The Lord doesn't give the reason, but it is a policy practiced still today. When the ward, financial clerk, or anyone assigned to be in charge of money goes to the bank to make a deposit, they are never to go alone. Great wisdom is present in these guidelines. Okay, and then we have verse 3. And also that he shall continue in writing and making a history of all the important things which he shall observe and know concerning my church, and also that he received counsel. Sorry, it's much earlier than I normally read. So we're getting the yawns. And I'm not walking, see? And also that he received it. I just didn't want to wake anybody up. And also that he received counsel and assistance from my servant Oliver Cowdery and others. And also my servants who are abroad in the earth shall send forth the accounts of their stewardships in the land of Zion. For the land of Zion shall be a seat and a place to receive and to do all these things. Nevertheless, let my servant John Whitmer travel many times from place to place and from church to church, that he may the more easily obtain knowledge, preaching and expounding, writing, copying, selecting, and obtaining all things which shall be for the good of the church, and for the rising generations that shall grow up on the land of Zion, to possess it from generation to generation, forever and ever. Amen. Okay, so the Lord continued to give assignments to John Whitmer. John was to continue to write and make a history in addition to receiving counsel from the assisting from and assisting Oliver, the Lord wanted John to visit places, obtain knowledge, and expound, copy, select, and obtain all things which shall be for the good of the church and the rising generations that shall grow up on the land of Zion. The Lord has made it clear that keeping a record was important to him. On the importance of recording history, President Uchtdorf taught this. Keeping ourselves anchored to the lessons learned from history will enable us to emulate the best of what it means to be human. It can also help us to avoid the worst. George Wilhelm Friedrich Hegel, the German philosopher and idealist, said, We learn from history that we do not learn. We learn from history that we do not learn from history. Which is supported by George Santayana, who said, "Those who cannot remember the past are condemned to repeat it." The late novelist Michael Crichton is reported to have said, "If you do not know history, then you do not know anything." Excuse me. You are a leaf that doesn't know it is part of a tree. History teaches us not only about the leaves of existence, it also teaches us about the twigs, branches, trunks, and roots of life, and these lessons are important. Unquote. President Dieter F. Uchtdorf, the gospel encompasses all truth. Liahona, February 2018. Okay. Well, there you have it. That is the last verse, or that was the last for Doctrine and Covenants 69. And until Doctrine and Covenants section 70, stay strong, warrior.